What's up, guys? We have to say a quick hello to Fru Pinter here, but I actually do want to finish this in a second. But welcome, Fru. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm super happy to be here.
I'm super happy that you have internet.
We're super happy we have it this time. Yeah.
So we were just talking about Athens, which I do like a lot. Actually, one of the
Athens, Greece, not Georgia.
Yeah. Well, does anyone go to Athens, Georgia for a memory?
I mean, it popped into my head. I know.
So one of
Greece,
the right, Greece. One of the most fun dinners I've ever had was in Athens, only because it was very unique. Like the guy came up and he was like, we're like, do you have a menu? He goes, yeah, well, what do you want? And we're like, I don't really understand the question. I was like, and so he's like, all right, we got a little of this, we got a little of that, we got a little of this. And to order, you actually went up to the kitchen and watched what they were making. You're like, all right, I kind of want that. And that looks good and whatever. So then we eat and we're like, all right, we're ready for the check whenever you are. He pulls out a crayon. I kid you not, an actual Crayola crayon. And writes it on the tablecloth. And he's like, all right, so you had one of these and does the math in his head. He goes, and then it wasn't even right. It was like, all right, I don't know, just give me like 30 euros. And you're like, and I was like, okay, sure. I'm not really understand what's happening here, but whatever, And so, and that and draft wine. I'd never seen draft wine.
Like on tap?
It's on tap in a steel pitcher.
Exactly. The interesting part about it that it's measured by kilograms, and that is the only liquid that is measured by kilograms. Everything else is liters, but the tap wine is by kilograms.
By weight, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh man, there is a really, 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 really funny skit on Saturday Night Live by a comedian called Nate Bargatze, who is doing this shtick on. He's in the Revolutionary War time for America, and he's like, "Gentlemen, we're going to create the greatest nation in the world." And then they start talking about. He goes, "And we're going to have a thing called a mile." They're like, "What is that?" He's like, "No." He goes, "Nobody knows. We've just made it up." So is everything in miles? He goes, "Nope. Sports will be in yards." Well, and he just keeps going. He keeps going through all of these contradictions. It might be the funniest 3 minutes of Saturday Night Live history.
The fact that we didn't convert with the rest of the world is kind of the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, it is funny. But Athens, I love. It's a beautiful city, but I lived in New York for 15 years. And to me, all big cities are New York with an addition. So, Athens is like New York with the Parthenon, which is a big addition.
I will agree with that, because when I was in Cairo, I was like, oh, it's like New York with pyramids.
Right. Right.
I was like, there's a TGI Fridays right across from the Sphinx,
100%.
Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. I do like it quite a bit though. So I'm excited that you're excited there. And you could dive in Athens, really?
Around the Athens area. So Athens is coastal, so there is various depth available, and then some of my friends are having boats, so I'm very excited about that, maybe this weekend. But there are also secret little spots with shallower depth where we can just admire the underwater world or train as well. Nice. So the conditions are really, really nice, especially this time of the year until up to October. So yeah, great spot.
What happens in October? Winter?
You guys get we have a hurricane season. I don't know if you guys have some weather stuff over there.
Well, it's just getting autumn, so the water is getting colder, the currents are changing, and actually you can dive all year round, but you have to put on very, very thick neoprene, so diving isn't as comfortable then. But technically I could. I have a 7mm wetsuit, so I can dive all
You guys
year
never
round.
do dry suits or anything, right?
No. That needs extra equalizing, so later about that, I guess.
Okay.
A 7mm wetsuit, man.
We don't have as much air,
That's
Basically, I designed it. I call it Jeanne d'Arc's armor. It's literally looking like a medieval armor with the cuts and so on.
It goes over your head and feet and all the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. It has a hood and then I'm wearing gloves, socks, everything. Even the color combination looks like an armor.
That's really funny. So what do you, so you've kind of resettled now, and I love you got a lot of stories with you, and I love this, what I love talking about you. So, I mean, we could literally take this anywhere, but tell us a little.
We got to back it up, and
like tell us a little bit about yourself.
We're already talking about the thing.
Yeah, we're already talking about the thing. Back up a little bit, and then let's get into what you're doing now. But let's start with where you came from.
Okay, so I'm originally Hungarian, so that has nothing to do with water. I grew up landlocked, and I grew up being afraid of the water. So that changed, obviously.
Clearly.
So, I actually studied abroad. So when I was 18, I flew out. So actually this nomadic state where you guys don't know where I am, this is how my adult life. So I lived all across the world and studied here and there, Belgium, Japan, you name it. Then actually ended up in Costa Rica, and that's where I started freediving. So
you
currently,
can see my Costa Rica shirt. I love Costa Rica, so not here nor there, but yay for Costa Rica.
Absolutely, it was an amazing experience, and one of them all over the world. And actually, what allows me to do this is I don't like this word, digital nomad. So let's say that I'm designing and I only need my laptop for it and a sketchbook. So there are two parts of my personality, and it's not schizophrenia, which is I'm a freediver and a creative. And these two pillars support my life and make me very happy.
And it's funny because I've had a couple conversations with you, obviously, over the time we've known each other. And as a fellow creative, I don't know that I would have started there. But after talking to you, I think the correlation between creative energy and freediving is, once you actually hear the story, you can't like unhear it. And you're like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. I don't know why everybody creative isn't freediving.
Yeah. And I also don't know why not more freedivers are creatives, although like I see more and more popping up.
Yeah. You know what? I think my take on that is it is such a disciplined, intense activity that I think it draws a certain type of personality that could be creative, but I just think that not a lot of creatives I know have that sort of like intensity.
I wonder if some of this is conditioning and programming, right? You know, how many more people would be creative if we lived in a society where that had its own, like, you know, no, you got to get a job, you got to produce money, you got to do, you know, rather than just producing. I forgot what it was, but yesterday I saw this clip where they were oddly talking about Egypt as well, where like this one city in ancient Egypt was like just creatives, and all they had to do was make art, right? And that's how they contributed to society. And it was like, you know, why do we have shitty looking, you know, townhouses and communities that are all like, you know, the song's Little Boxes, basically, right? Everything comes out looking exactly the same, but this one's blue and that one's yellow. And no, these Egyptians were like in this one city, they're like, I'm going to make the coolest fucking scarab. I'm going to craft the best one. Why? Because they're going to give me gold. They're going to give me jewels. I can do whatever I want.
Right.
And that had such intrinsic value to their society that, like, it's a shame that isn't as right. I mean, we call it starving artist for a reason, right? It's like, you know, I'm also wondering, Fru, because I'm going to mention Muse now too. They have a headband now that analyzes how much oxygen is getting to each side of your brain, and oddly enough, the creative side of my brain doesn't get as much oxygen.
Oh,
I've been trying.
Yeah.
I've been trying to fix that.
You know, you can operate on very low levels of oxygen, so I'm not worried about you.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Fru's oxygen.
I'm wondering if when it comes flooding back, when you get that first breath, if you get more to the right side of your brain.
That's a
her brain's prioritizing. More to the right. More to the right.
More to the right. I need to do creative things.
Yeah. We got shit to do, people. I need oxygen.
Actually, there are a lot of neuroscientific research that supports why freediving is good for creativity and vice versa. So when I did my instructor's course, you need to end with a presentation. And these two, I've been looking forward to research this for such a long time. So that ended up in a very long paper. But there are so many elements that, for example, from the beginning till the end, so how I put it together is like from preparation until the dive, there are a lot of things that support creativity. Seeing blue, being in the water, being under pressure, what that does with your body triggers parts of the brain and elements that support creativity. And my favorite one, I think, is just the details are endless and fascinating. I can send it to you guys, or we can go into it. Ask away.
I'd like to get into a little bit of it.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah, like what, like
why blue?
Yeah, that's a good.
Why blue? Why? I don't know why, but apparently research shows, and I cannot name up the research by heart, but research shows that just by looking at water or just by looking at the color blue, so in a research facility, they separated these two. Just by looking at blue, your nervous system calms down. And
they do that in design a lot, right? For healthcare and
exactly, greens, blues. So basically, by a nervous system calming down, you become in a more receptive state, and creativity needs calm nervous system and calm mind. So that's one of the elements. My very favorite one is looking at the pattern of water. Like you guys know when the light plays on the surface of the water. So that unpredictable pattern actually creates this decentralized attention in your brain, which means that your brain is working in a background, actually, but it's zoning out. So if you ever done anything creative, you know that your aha moments when you get an idea comes oftentimes in a zoned out state. And that's what's happening. Also, one of the parts of creativity is incubation of an idea. So you give yourself a brief, or somebody gives you a brief, you let it simmer a little bit. When you are not constantly busy with the topic, but you just let it rest, you be busy with something else. And that means that during that time, your brain will work in the background. And seeing blue and looking at the pattern of water during these times just helps that process. So I think that's fascinating. And this defocused attention that gets triggered by the water pattern, that's just amazing.
You know, the other thing that I'm thinking of right now, Tom, is Dr. Martin Moore-Eid came on talking about circadian rhythms, and he was on the lab who codified the circadian rhythm, and blue, specifically that nanometer between 400 and 500, nanometers, it basically starts the circadian cascade in your brain that sets you up for the entire day and night. So there is something about that blue color, and that color, by the way, just in color terms, is about the sky color. So
sky
it's probably
blue,
it's not probably a reach to think about it for water, but like I'm wondering if there's not a component of this that is that your brain just kind of like, oh, this is chill.
And Fru, that pattern, I have to say, one of my favorite things at the aquarium. We've got one of the best aquariums in the world here in Baltimore, and that's we don't have much to brag about, but but even they have these lights throughout the place, even on the escalators, where you see those wave patterns, right? So they pass the light through it, and you're I never made that connection, but I even like riding the damn escalator in the aquarium.
Right. Yeah. Because it's everywhere. Yeah.
It's everywhere. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so calm here.
Yeah. It is funny that I actually want to go work at the aquarium one day. We have a season membership, and I'm like, I don't have kids that want to go there anymore. So I feel a little creepy going there with a bunch of kid field trips, and I'm by myself, like this random middle-aged
go on a member
dude by
night,
himself.
man. We gotta go on a member night. We gotta skip a Thursday night, and we won't do a podcast. We'll go. They serve alcohol.
Oh, wow.
And there's no one there.
That's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
But it is super chill. I do agree with you. There's something sort of primal about water, right? Like, I mean, it connects us to a place that we all came from a million years ago.
Yeah.
Like everything originates from it. I mean, it does. I think we have this like inseparable like bond with water. And some people like yourself bond with it differently and stronger than others. And in it, yeah. But like, so you dig water and everything, and you got to where you're at, but like, back us up real quick. How do you jump into free diving? Because like I was saying earlier, this is a pretty intense activity. Like this is not a casual.
It's not, like, this is not a, hey, one day I saw 20,000 people doing it. So
people casually climb like a mountain on a hike or something. Like they're like, all right, so for my 50th birthday, I want to go up to Kilimanjaro and hike it out to the front. Like that's sort of like, okay, I've seen people do that. Free diving is a different story, right?
It could be as well. So many different people come from so many different backgrounds. So I came from fearing of water, wanting to face that fear. A lot of my students come from that background too, but especially having lived in Dahab, there is an epicenter of free diving, and a lot of people gather there who are free divers, who are teaching, coaching, all walks of life. So I would say it's available to anybody, and it's also not. You are not predestined for a certain result, for example, because of your age, gender, and so on. So you see people that develop in years. You see people go to very considerable depths in a month or two. So it's very unpredictable. The development as a freediver is also very unpredictable. So I think once somebody arrives and has the curiosity of the water, or curiosity of themselves actually in the water, that is a good start. And then there is also no pressure to it. So the moment you hold your breath, you are free diving. So even when you are in a swimming pool, and don't do it alone, I'm going to repeat this several times, even if you're in a swimming pool, you're looking at the bottom of the pool and you're holding your breath, and you're holding it for a couple of seconds, and it feels good or not. That's already free diving, and that's one of the disciplines. So
how many people jump from scuba diving, because I'm advanced open water certified, to free diving, because there is the amount of crap you have to put on your body to scuba dive, which is significantly better now than it was when I was 16 and got certified, is still like there's like a giant tank strapped to you. Well, how many people make that jump?
Well, be not fooled. Free diving sounds free without equipment. I think I calculated I have the exact same amount of equipment as a scuba diver does, like nose clips, different kind of mask, snorkel, another goggle, swimming cap, two-piece wetsuit, whatever. It goes on and on and on. So it's not very free, but it's just different. You're freer in your
less free than we were led to believe.
Free in the fact that you're not strapped to something, not on your wallet.
I think we have everything but the tanks. So and more. We have other stuff, like scuba divers don't go with the big monofins, which is a mermaid tail. So we may discuss how equipment wise, how free is free diving. But I think especially that free divers have this lovely little joke that when we see scuba divers, we will go down and say hello to them. So that makes them jump quite often.
Yeah. I love that. That's hilarious.
That's great.
It's funny when you and I first met, I don't know if you remember this. I had absolutely unplanned just watched a free dive documentary called, what is it? The Deepest Breath or something like that along those lines. Yeah. And literally we watched it as a throwaway. We were channel surfing, like we didn't really care. We just wanted something on while we were just goofing around. And like 5 minutes in, we were like mesmerized. Like, I mean, it went from like, whatever, we'll just put this on because it was there, to like, holy shit, I can't wait to finish watching this. And so like I and then like a week later, you and I met for the first time. Like it was like one of those like completely random things, right? But I rewatched that movie after you and I talked, probably maybe about a year after we talked, actually. And I know that there's a couple things that have evolved with you, which I kind of want to touch on today. But one of those things was this idea of like bragging about your depth, right? Like I'm going to here. And like last time you and I talked, you were like, we don't even mention depth anymore. Like it's not even part of our conversation. And if somebody starts talking about it, we kind of change the subject. Like we're like, we don't, we don't engage in that. Can you talk to me a little bit about sort of like, I think that touches on a little bit of the ego / intensity I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then the spiritual sort of like, I'm in it to be in it because I love it thing. So can you noodle around in that category for a second?
Absolutely. That's a very, very good question. And I'm happy you brought it up, and happy that nobody straight off the bat asked what are my depths and numbers.
Well, I know better than to ask that.
That seems like a very, that seems from everything you've said, that, you know, the competition almost takes away from the creativity of it. And honestly, it feels like the freedom of the whole thing.
Which is a very good thing you chimed in there, and I'm going to go into it. So essentially, there are two schools of thoughts. One of them goes very competitive, very proud of the numbers, and measures freediving by the numbers. And that's all good and well, and there is no problem with that. That also, to me, then, being a part of the other school, which says, no, freediving isn't really measured by numbers because it's measured by the quality of the dives. So I can go to X plus 15 meters and feel absolutely crap. And then I'm coming up. But to me, that wasn't a good dive. To me, that wasn't even a number that I'm going to note down that I went that deep. So to me, it's the focus is being in flow and being in the moment and enjoying the dive and being in the dive itself, and that connects it with creativity. So actually, there is a psychologist called Mihai Csikszentmihalyi who researched about the flow theory. And flow is something, a state where you are fully engaged for the activity itself. So all your focus, all your body is in there. So that's how I'm freediving. When you put an abstract goal, which is a number is very abstract for your body, so your body does not live by numbers. When you put an abstract goal, you more likely push yourself towards that. So maybe you say at X meters that, okay, this was fine. I had fun. I would like to terminate the dive and enjoy my way up. But maybe your mind will say, oh, but I'm not at the bottom yet. So you will push yourself into an experience that perhaps wasn't meant for you yet. There is nothing wrong with it if you are aware, but I'm seeing also more people who are concerned with numbers that they lose the track, lose the process, they lose the flow, and they are diving for that number and diving for that result with losing track of how they got there. So I'm more motivated by the process. They are more motivated by numbers. Nothing wrong with any of these, but I observe that there is a separation between the two.
And I think you're right in saying it's not like there's anything wrong with it per se, but like what I think is, I guess we can qualify it as wrong. It isn't necessarily with the free dive in particular, but I think we get so obsessed in a TikTok generation with this outcome, right? Like it's all about the thing. Like, okay, I saw this TikTok where this dude jumped off, you know, like the parkour guys that, oh, I jumped off a building that was like 30 feet tall. Do you know how many times that dude broke his legs or fucked up a fall or something? He didn't just like wake up one day and jump off a 30-foot building, right? Like that just didn't happen. But now when people see it's possible, they just kind of skip to the end because that TikTok video was 5 seconds long. And so how hard could it be? It was only 5 seconds, right? Like we could do this. And I think people just get like, they lose track of the thing. So when I get into something, I generally get into it to do the thing, not to get to a place, right? And that's just a personal sort of issue, but I like the process. I like process like that. I mean, creatives have to like process. Otherwise,
I think you just described the issue with like social media, and I think I've said it on another show. Like anyone can just post their highlight reels. You don't see the process ever. You don't see the suffering behind to get where you're supposed to be, and I think that really, you know, it just exacerbates this instant gratification kind of culture. You know, lets a lot of people do some stupid stuff too, which also makes for good social media content.
Yeah, but you know what? If some dude like gets his nuts clamped by, you know, something he did because he fell off a tractor, you know, trying to golf club off the hood or something stupid, like that's amusing. Somebody fucks up in what Fru's doing, they die. Like
they die.
You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
It's like
which is back to that "don't do it by yourself" thing. I think, which Fru brought up immediately.
Definitely not, but you're not gonna die immediately. So freediving is dangerous. First rule is you don't do it alone. But yeah, there is a very, very long way of actually dying. So you can injure yourself, you can get into a very tricky situation. But if you really don't do it alone, and if you're with somebody who is qualified to help you, then chances of dying is really, really low.
But it is interesting that you say that, because I feel like that documentary kind of, which was my introduction to freediving, I really didn't have, aside from those, what do you call those, apnea scales or apnea exercises where you actually can do on your couch. You know what I mean? Like it's meant for just increasing VO2 max or something.
Is this where you hold until you can't hold anymore?
It's on a chart. It's on a chart. Like day one, it's almost like working out, right? Like day one, you do this. Aside from that, like I've seen those charts before, but I'd never really like dove in, no pun intended, into the world of freediving. And when I looked at, what was her name? Alessia something or other, that world record, this woman was possessed, like, and I don't know if she still is, but she was possessed with those numbers. And she was in, like, when she was a kid, Tom, she was like in a pool with a monofin on, like laughing people. No, like just straight up crushing them. Like, you know, they go one length of the pool, she'd go 5, right? Like it was like, basically like, it was just, she was nowhere near, like the next person was like miles behind her. And I forget was it a Japanese woman? They were in, I think, the Bahamas, the Big Blue.
Yes.
And they were going back and forth, and the Japanese woman went down and got a new world record. And she was like, nope, fuck that. Went down and got right. You know, and it's like, and it's this whole thing that, and Fru, I don't know if I'm misinterpreting it, but that felt like nothing but competition. Like that was like, nope. This lady is not going to beat me today. I'm going to go down 3 more meters than she did, right? And they tossed back and forth a couple world records that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, it's still happening. So that's what I mean by being motivated by numbers, and weaving in your ego in there that is not necessarily taking care of your body. I myself had dives when I could hear my ego speaking, and that's scary. And then eventually, like actually this is a very personal story, happened super recently. So I was diving in a blue hole, what you can see in the deepest breath, and I really wanted to see the arch. And I went out, I prepared, everything was in my mind. It was about, I'm going to see the arch today. I'm going to see the arch today. It's not a big deal to see the arch. Like I can do that depth any time. But I went on the dive that, okay, I want to see the arch before I'm moving away from Egypt. I went down, I hang there, I turn around, there is the arch. Absolutely, astonishingly beautiful, beautiful place.
Wait, that's in Nueva, right?
No, that's in Dahab.
That's in Dahab?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Because you said the blue hole, and I thought there was one in Cairo too. Oh, no, in Nueva. Sorry.
No, it's in Dahab, and then I'm hanging there, looking at this absolutely astonishingly beautiful thing, and then you know what my brain does? Okay, can I go back up now? And I was just thinking, just surfacing, like, what just happened? If I see this absolutely beautiful natural phenomenon in the front of me as an accident, I would be astonished and happy and full of rush. Because I put it in my head that I need to do that, and that's the goal, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be there. It completely canceled out the enjoyment for me. So I didn't want to see it again. And it's beautiful, but someone, me, who appreciates beauty in every single little thing, could not appreciate that because my ego was in the driving seat. That was scary. So I prefer not to do that.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do. I think that's really hard for a human to do, to downshift out of ego, or prevent the upshift into ego, right? Like, I mean, I struggle with that almost all the time. I mean, I would say that's a rule, not an exception for me, right? Like, it's like, because it's so easy to do. You're like, oh, I can go faster than this person, right? I could jump higher. I could lift more weights. I could meditate better. You know what I mean? Like, and we've got all these qualifications. That Muse headband's that Tom's talking about measures everything. Like I could literally be like, how'd you meditate today? And now we're like competing over who meditated better. Like, I mean, what kind of ridiculous is
I'll
that?
admit mine have been shitty for the last like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in a meditation hole right now.
I'm like,
me.
why 12%? What
Yeah.
did I even try?
Yeah, no.
Which I guess is an odd thing to say around meditation.
but Fru, that's entirely ego driven. Yeah, 100%. You're like,
yeah.
I didn't meditate right today. What the fuck does that mean? No, of course you meditated right. You meditated, period. There's not a right or wrong. It's just you meditated.
It's about the experience.
Yeah, right.
You did it. You showed up.
Yeah.
Was anything measuring what happened inside of you? No.
Yeah. So if it's not ego, talk to me about like sort of when you're sort of looking at your trajectory of dive present and future, what are you like? Are you tracking towards anything? Are you tracking for better experiences? Are you just not tracking at all? You're like, fuck it, whatever happens, happens. Like where is your head?
Very, very, very good question. I do track all of my dives. So I have a dive log that I'm writing down after every single session, which goes dive 1, dive 2, dive 3. And these would be also numbers. So I would put the depth there and I would put the time there. Also just to see, for example, how long it takes me to get there and so on. This is information for me. And if I ever compete, that will be a good information to build on. Or if I'm taking coaching or when I'm taking people to coach, so when I'm teaching them, that's a good measure. So I'm still looking at numbers, but I'm not looking at them as the motivators and as the qualifiers of the dive. What happens afterwards, I will structure my dive log in. Okay, how was my breathe up? What was going on in my mind? If there was a lot ongoing, how did I get my head empty? Was my head empty? Was I actually in a state what you have before falling asleep, literally on your bed, like this is the moment I should be leaving on my dive? Then how was my dive? How were the sensations? What were the things that I noticed? And that helps for me to progress then. Because I feel, for example, one of the dives I relax, but I feel that the left side of my neck is tensed. And then during the dive, I may be able to relax it, and that makes the dive better and more successful. And then that's information for the neck from why is the left side of my neck tense? Oh, maybe because I slept this way. But it also could be that, because I didn't stretch. It also could be because of some dietary choices that I made before. So sensation and bodily sensation and then mental relaxation will all inform me to then improve my dives session after session. And that can vary dive per dive. So it doesn't mean that I come up, I understood that my neck is tense, so I can fix it on the next one. So maybe I will be able to fix it in 1 month when I had enough physio to fix it. So, and I would write a lot about how I felt, what were the things in my mind, what were the things that weren't in my mind, emotions, stuff like this. And that taps more into the mental and emotional aspects of diving than the physical aspect that also gets its place. And yeah. And that also...
So go ahead.
No, that supports as well when I'm taking on students, then I can approach them in the same way that, okay, when they tell me numbers, well, there are 2 numbers. There is the depth and the time, but that doesn't really help me to have them progress. So that's 2 data points. If we talk about much more in detail, if we talk about much more awareness, we can evolve on many other points than boom, boom.
Right. Which are I think if I'm reading you right, are just sort of incomplete story. They don't really tell like what's happening.
The experience of the dive.
And do you, are you diving enough where you are a little enough where you actually would remember those if you were to back and reread like sort of the emotional side or like something, hey, on this, like a dive from 2 years ago, if you reread it, would you be like, oh, I remember that dive?
Completely remember the entire dive, but that's why it's good to track it. So I don't know if you journal and then you read back 2 years ago, you don't necessarily remember every single detail, but you can see, for example, I go back 2 years ago and I read something and I'm like, ooh, that still seems to be a problem 2 years past. I haven't ever addressed it. So what about now?
Oh, interesting.
How did that evolve? Is that still actually a problem? Or was that a problem with the awareness that I had back then?
Sure. Yeah, I asked because I stopped actually journaling my meditation because I realized that I wasn't really doing anything with the information. And, you know, it gives you the option to do it. And I'm like, all right. And I did it for years, but then I was like, I went back and read it. I'm like, I don't remember anything about this session because I meditate 7 times a week at a minimum. Right. So it's like, I don't know. I don't, you know, some stupid thought that rolled through my head, or, you know, an anxiety or an elation. I don't know. It's all sort of muddled together. So I'm like,
how horrible would it be if you remembered everything, though?
Yeah.
How horrible.
Yeah.
Every little thing that made you anxious is going to be like front and foremost.
Right.
You're not going to be able to like, that's all you're going to do is go, oh my God, remember 20 years ago when I said that one thing to that person the wrong way, and I didn't mean it to come out that way, but then now they still hate me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, God, I you know, somebody's like, hey, you remember this person? I'm like, no, I do not. It's great.
Nope.
You're right. But if that becomes a loop, then it's good to address it. Then it's good to see that your brain is still busy with something. And if you address it, then it could be solved.
So I don't know that you were teaching as much the last time we spoke, and you've mentioned it a couple times today. Tell me what's going on there. That sounds exciting. I love teaching.
I also kind of want to know what it entails for a student.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what they come to me for. So let's say you walk in, we agree that I'm going to teach you, and probably you are going to undergo a course. So there are several schools in freediving, CMAS, IDA, SSI, and so on. There are plenty, and they have their different trajectories. I'm connected to IDA. And that means that there is actually a rule book of what I need to teach you, which then I can add my added value and my added experience and my own methods. But there are things I need to teach to the students. So that would be starting from, to me, it would start with safety. So I want them to know the risks. I want them to know how to keep themselves safe and each other safe when they are diving with another person. Also, how to do the exercises safely. And that entails a lot of how they hold their breath, what they focus on. Also, when they are diving, how they position their body. They are diving next to a line, so how does that go? How do they turn so that it doesn't end up in entanglement, accidents, whatnot? How they surface, how they breathe before and after diving. That is a safety aspect. So I teach them to breathe. I teach them to hold their breath, which is they just hold their breath, but then we are working with the mind. So how to stay calm and relaxed in a situation when your body is like, hey, we are under life threat. How to control their bodies so that it relaxes even when their minds are saying, hey, I would like to breathe. How to do this in a safe manner. Then obviously how to be in water, how to enter the water, how to move in the water, how to position themselves, and then essentially how to come up in a most energy efficient way. So that would be in a nutshell. And that's the physical aspects of it. I always take away with them as well what to eat. How do you start being a freediver? I mean,
what to eat? How important is that? I mean, aside from just being not overweight, I'm sure that's probably
you got to eat very heavy foods so you go down quicker.
Yeah.
Opposite, more
pasta, lots of pasta,
lots
9 pounds
heavy
of pasta. Yeah.
Not right before diving, but for example, like what to avoid before a diving session, which I would say, okay, something that fuels your body because you will be moving, you will be doing anaerobic exercise. So your muscles will work without oxygen. That burns a lot. Your body is in water, so your body will burn more calories because it tries to keep your body warm. So that would be something light before. But there are some inflammatory foods, for example, that can cause your sinuses to swell. So a lot of people, even if they aren't lactose intolerant, react on milk products, cheese, and so on, with swollen sinuses. You don't notice that as a normal person. Like you don't need to have perfectly clear sinuses. Most of us don't. But when you go diving, and this is how you actually equalize and how you keep yourself clean, then it's an important aspect. Then, of course, no heavy foods, eat clean, eat something that is easily digestible, but it's still very nutritious. Some people, I say, don't eat gluten because it also inflames the body. So be a little bit more mindful of what you bring into your body. Plus, hydration. So that's just good for your entire body, mind, everything. But I always need to remind students, like, please hydrate as much as possible, also to keep your sinuses clean. So there are general health advice I'm giving them, but a lot of people come for holidays to a place that is next to the sea, so they don't necessarily think this way when they start with the sport. And then when you go to a competitive aspect, or then when you go to being a semi-professional as myself, my diet is put together pretty much in the way of what I'm doing in the water and what I'm seeking to achieve.
How many? I mean, I would imagine that this is very healthy group of people,
lifestyle. Yeah.
Like people that do it like you do it, like, you know, that are involved in community, that are teaching or whatever. Like I can't imagine that after a while, like, what are you going to just go chunk down a box of ho-hos? I doubt it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
I don't even know if they have ho-hos where she is.
She's like, fuck that. I had eight for breakfast, man. I'm not diving today.
You know, Fru, we joke all the time that if we wanted to make, if you wanted to be really rich, you would write a book on weight loss. And I think the free diver's diet is a book waiting for you to write.
Waiting for you to write. Yeah.
And then like you're kind of talking not in a fasting kind of way, but like, look, cold water. Using anaerobic activity, you're absolutely right. You're going to burn more calories. So why not write the book?
I'm not getting the sense there's a lot of overweight people in this community.
No, not in this community. They're too buoyant.
No. Yeah. That is actually research being done. I contributed to it by Erika Shagatai, who is measuring how much calories freediving takes. So, because you see this with people, and I seen it on my first competition. It's a fun story, actually, that I lost way too many kilos in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I looked around and all the freedivers said, why everybody is so skinny? And there is they say, they investigate right now that there is some correlation between depth and weight loss. Well, just how your metabolism changes. But there is nothing published yet. So I'm super excited about that. And that comes
that sounds interesting.
You guys say that we must be also very healthy, and so generally, yes, but that's what I thought as a beginner. And then I stopped alcohol, I stopped cigarettes. I used to be a big party goer, so that all stopped with freediving. Like, that also became an element of why I started liking this sport, because I never felt so good in my body. Well,
sure.
I started to be healthy. So that element was a part of the addiction, but that's not why. But it was interesting. I went to my first competition. It was on a Greek island, and I was like restricting myself from everything. So just like super clean, go to sleep early and so on. I lived like a machine. And then I came up from my first competition dive. I went on a boat. There was a guy before me who was diving like very, very, very deep, not to say numbers. He was sitting in his wetsuit. He had a beer in his hands and a cigarette in his hands. I was like, how? And then we had a conversation, and it boiled down to me as keep a balance. You can still enjoy life. You can still have a cigarette. You can still have a beer. But obviously, if that's going to be a repeated pattern, that's not going to support your diving. So generally healthy, but also why not to indulge? Like, that's also a mental thing. If you keep training and you are restricting yourself of everything, your nervous system is not going to like that. So if you eat a chocolate once in a while, so what?
Yeah. Well, you don't gain weight with a beer. Right. But interesting. I am curious. Not getting into the obsession about the depth itself, but I'm wondering I am curious what the pressure of depth creates from a metabolic standpoint, right? Like, because I've never thought about that before. You just said that. I mean, that's kind of an interesting, I'm wondering, because you guys, I assume, even at shallow depths, you guys are under more pressure than the average human would be under, right? Like, you're not.
Absolutely. So
we're at zero pressure here.
1 bar, 10 meters, 2 bars, and with every 10 meters, a bar extra is added. So generally what's happening...
Wait, say that one more time. Every 10 meters, another bar is added?
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
got it. Okay.
So that's quite interesting that actually when your body is put under pressure, something kicks in that is called the mammalian dive response, which means that there is several things in your body that are happening because of the pressure. And that's amazing. I think we are just sea mammals altogether. One of the things that's happening is bradycardia. So for example, your heart rate would drop. Your metabolism is slowing down. You are conserving oxygen, right? Because oxygen is burning. And so your body slows that down entirely. Then there is this vasoconstriction. So for example, your hands and your legs, that are the extremities of your body, will get less blood. So all the blood that is, not all, but most of the blood that is there is going to the middle of your body. Why? Because your body is trying to protect the organs, your heart, your lungs, your intestines. And then what is happening there as well is that your spleen is spurting out highly oxygenated blood cells, so that to keep this all together, to protect your lungs, to protect your vital organs, and to also keep your brain oxygenated. So this is described now quite simplistically, but there is a very, very complex situation ongoing in your body just because of pressure and just because of being submerged in water. So your metabolism, technically, according to this, is actually non-existent. So you will stop digesting if you ate before a dive, and that's why we do not tend to eat a heavy meal right before a dive. You are not gonna digest it, like you're just gonna feel it here, and that's not fun.
No, that doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
So ixnay on the ribeye before.
This sounds, I mean, in hyperbaric chambers, it's the same kind of effect. And God, I never lost any weight using it.
But were you running laps in a hyperbaric chamber?
No, I was not moving around at all. It's a coffin. It's a vinyl coffin is what it is.
Yeah, I've never done one of those. I am kind of curious because I'll tell you, when I was 13, 14, I went scuba diving in Hawaii. We were only supposed to go to like 30 feet. We went to 65 feet to see a turtle because the guy who took us down there knew there was this turtle who hung out under this rock. And he goes, look, are you guys cool with it? And my parents were like, yeah, whatever. We're stupid tourists. Let's do it. And I was like a teenager. I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'll dive
let's
anyway.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get down there, we see the turtle. The thing was like the size of a Volkswagen. It was very cool to see. It was a massive turtle. I came back up. I was like, oh, what a great thing. Yeah. Didn't think anything of it. Flew home. Like 3 weeks later, I still have a nosebleed down the back of my throat, still bleeding, like one drop at a time. And I went to the doctor. He's like, I said, hey, I don't know what happened. I just get this. Never occurred to me. Finally, we pieced it together. I go to get an x-ray. I had sinus polyps that had burst because of the
pressure.
Depth.
Sinus squeeze. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they gave me cortisone or something, I think, to shrink the polyps, and then they went away and I never had it again and it was done. However, I'm 49 years old next week, and I still, if I go to the bottom of a 10-foot pool, my face just wants to explode. And I feel like there's some like trauma there, either that or I'm just like PTSD about that feeling at all. And so any sensation is like catastrophic.
Were you unable to equalize when you were diving, or were
so
you
I
unable
didn't
to?
It wasn't like I had a problem then. It's just that I know, like I think because I had that, whatever caused that to rupture or burst,
the squeeze itself. Yeah.
Like I think it was just sore and tender. So like and it was in the summertime, so I was.
And then you got on a plane a couple days later and did the exact opposite. Yeah.
But there is a serenity at the bottom of a 10-foot pool that is different than if you just put your head under the water, right? And so, I remember when I was scuba diving, I still remember that dive. I mean, 65 feet, it's getting dark, it's gotten a lot colder. There is no sound whatsoever except for your own thoughts. And that's it. And like, there is something kind of neat about that. All you hear, I mean, obviously in scuba, you hear the bubbles, right? Like, going out.
Parrotfish eating coral, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but you just hear stuff. And then when we were in Roatan a couple for spring break, we were at 25 feet, and I only know we were at 25 feet because my Apple Watch has a depth meter on it the second you get it in water. And talk about ego, but it was only 25 feet. My son and I start swapping the watch back and forth to see who could go down the farthest. And then my son...
Were you just snorkeling?
No, just hold your breath, go on.
Hold your breath and
go.
go.
Yeah, right. So this fucking kid of mine gets to the bottom and touches. I'm like, God damn it, I can't go deeper than that. But I couldn't even get close to it because I got to like 15 feet and my face was going to like explode. I'm like, nope, can't do this. I got to go. And I had like a visceral like panic attack about like that feeling. So, but when you're looking around down there, man, and you have nothing on you. I was in a bathing suit and an Apple Watch. That's like what I had. And you just kind of like look up and you're looking at the pattern on the water on the surface and you're looking at the fish just kind of going about their business. I'm like, it is really fucking cool down there. Like really fucking cool down there. I would love to see, I saw her do that in that documentary. She went down that rope into basically pitch black. I mean, I think she was at 100 meters or 97 meters or something ridiculous. And it's like black. Like you can't see shit under there.
You don't, and this is kind of like a basic question here. You don't get nitrogen narcosis because you're not breathing oxygen, regular air anymore. You're holding the breath that you had, so you're not adding more nitrogen to the system, correct?
That is true. You still can get narcosis. So different people.
You can.
Yes. Depends how fast you're metabolizing.
Okay.
But you still can get different people get it at different depths, I would say.
But no, you're not getting bent though, right? You're not getting the bends.
We could as well, yeah. But it's
Jesus.
it's very rare. So for example, you could get the bends, you could get ECS by repeated dives without enough surface interval to.
Okay, so there's still a table then, similar to scuba diving.
There is a little bit. So, for example, I would go down and I come up, and anyways, I need to catch my breath, and my body is diving. So there is some surface interval we are having, and we are respecting that. You can calculate that as well. Usually, it's not that long. Usually,
it's not hours.
I was just going to say, is it hours or days, or is it
no?
Like
it's
minutes.
A couple of minutes. However, even if you keep the surface intervals, if you do the same dives and they are quite deep, repeatedly over and over and over again, then you may have a small buildup of nitrogen in your body.
Is that just because your blood can't flush it out fast enough, I'm guessing?
Exactly, and you repeat the same thing and you put your body under stress, and usually those are the moments as well when you are a bit dehydrated and so on. So you are not helping yourself there. But generally speaking, it shouldn't happen. Also, if you have an incident underwater, for example, a lung squeeze that prohibits your body to absorb and metabolize nitrogen, then that can happen as well. But these are very, very rare cases. So, for example, a safety divers that you've seen in the deepest breath, they are taking care of that. I'm a safety diver myself. I'm also very, very much checking how many times I'm diving and how long I'm on the surface to prevent that, because I would have sometimes 40 dives a day. So
shit.
Okay, I was going to ask you that because it's like you just took a boat out into the middle of the ocean. You don't want to go for 5 minutes and then go, all right, I'm good.
That's also interesting, because after a certain depth, you only do 1 or 2 dives and then you're done for the day.
Oh, okay.
So, safety divers are not diving super deep, and that's also a part of our job to actually put that together and be there for the athletes who then compete. But when you reach a certain depth, you do 1 dive, maximum 2 dives. Me on my sessions, I would do max 4. If I'm tired,
we're going for the deeper depths.
Yeah.
If I'm tired, I'm doing 2. 1 warm up and 1 dive, and I'm out and I'm happy. Like, I don't need to stretch that.
Sure. I mean, you're not hanging out down there, are you? Like, is that not? That's more of like a down, turn around, and come back up, or is that? Or you kind of get down there and hang out?
If we talk about the sport, you technically go down, turn around, and come back up. However, for example, my warm-up dives are I'm going down super shallow, so I'm just reaching my neutral buoyancy. That means I'm floating, and then I'm hanging out there for minutes, and it's amazing. And then I'm looking around.
And this is more to explore too, right? I mean, if you want to
is
go on a more of a scenic tour.
A
well,
scenic
it's
tour.
a very scenic tour inside of myself. Like then I'm literally dreaming. I'm sleeping, like my mind is gone, and I'm still
Oh,
seeing
wow.
water. So it's quite interesting. Yeah, because all of my body is calming down because all of these processes that we talked about. So
Yeah.
I'm asleep there and I'm dreaming. But I'm
Oh,
still
that's
seeing
great.
the water, still seeing the fish. I'm floating. I don't need to do anything. So I'm just suspending my body. So the lack of gravity there is just amazing, right?
That
So
That
sounds
sounds great.
so
Yeah.
attractive.
that's a it's
Yeah.
very, very, very pleasant and relaxing. One of the reasons I freedive are my warm-up dives. So this would be a warm-up. This would be showing your body that, okay, you are back to the water, start these processes, calm down, check your equalization. So this is technical. This is like stretching before a run. But
Sure.
it also has its own beauty. And this here we come to the beauty of it. Of course, freediving is going on the line, but I think one of the motivators is as well that when you are not on the line, and even when you are on the line, there is beauty all around you, and there's just an astonishing environment. As you guys scuba divers know, you see so many fishes. If you go to a location, you can see underwater formations. So that is always there. That is always fascinating and astonishing, and I don't think we should take that for granted. So I would also note in my dive logs, like, it was a good diving session because I see my favorite fish that is rare to see.
Right.
So contributes to the quality.
Yeah, and I think it is in Florida. There's a guy, an Italian guy, who lost his son diving years ago, like 30, 40 years ago. It was a long time ago. And he put a Jesus statue in 3 places in the world, and they all face each other. And one of them's in Florida, down in Key
Beautiful.
West. And it's covered in fire coral now.
Oh, beautiful.
And he did it for that reason. Like it was very intentional, like homage to his son. And we got a chance to dive there, and I was like, and you could free dive down to it. It's only like 15, 20 feet down. It's not like,
Not deep,
it's not
yeah.
deep, right? Like, so we're off there snorkeling and going down there. And it's like, when you even go down to that, and I'm like, I got my GoPro and I'm just taking a picture of like the fire coral up close. And then it's, again, same thing like you were saying, you're kind of just existing. Like there's no like,
experiencing.
You're just sort of like in it, like it's around you. You feel it all, every centimeter of your body, and you're watching. Like we saw a little shark go by, we saw some stingrays go. I'm like, wow, you're just like, it is such a blissful thing, which is why I think it's kind of addicting, right? Like, I mean, that kind of peaceful tranquility is got to be intoxicating. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's just so, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but calm is like an aphrodisiac now.
I think calm is
like,
so hard to achieve these days. There's always stimulation.
Yeah. No, that's my point. It's like, it's the absence
you don't have
of
those
everything.
moments.
Yeah, no, I love it.
And this level of calm, so that's also, so you think you are calm, you think you know what calm is, and then you start freediving and you are like, no, there is always
I was nowhere close.
There is always deeper calm than sleeping, which was mind-blowing for me. There's a really good book Wallace Nichols wrote about blue mind, and he actually opposes blue mind and red mind. So red mind would be this overly stimulated mind that we are having in our everyday life with just living the life we have in urban environments and so on. And blue mind is the calm mind. Blue mind is more nature connected, more tuned down, slower pace, and also more creative. It's a good read. I do recommend.
And all this podcast does is give me a longer reading list.
Yeah.
It really does. Like I've added 4 this week.
Yeah. So has it helped you? I don't. I could talk to you about this all day. I know we got to wrap up at some point. But,
this is amazing.
But like, has it helped you sort of in diving scenarios? Like, do you meditate still? Do you even need to, because you're doing diving so much? Like, and when you do, is it different?
Good question. Yeah. So generally speaking, when I'm diving, often I do prepare properly for it. So I would try to keep a more regular and more mindful lifestyle. But it goes vice versa. So I did notice that my creativity boosted, definitely. So that is a before and after freediving. My health boosted, so it has a lot of elements how my life improved with freediving. Relaxation wise, actually what helps a lot is breath work. So to freedive, I need to breathe before and breathe after. And I'm becoming more and more conscious of my breath. So breath work was one of the takeaways that I'm applying to day-to-day life, and I'm helping my friends with it as well. And that's just amazing how this awareness then makes you go into the topic and then you translate it back. I would like to say I'm also better at responding in a very stressful situation, because that's my sport. Stay calm while your body thinks you are dying. So
yeah. There's that.
You sold it right there.
Yeah. This casual thing where the body's like, you're gonna fucking die.
You feel like you're dying.
Yeah.
Your nervous system thinks so. Also, a lot of things that if you get into the sport, you realize how important the state of your nervous system is. And then you start looking into it. What are the tools to regulate my nervous system? So for the sport, right? But that just avalanches for the rest of your life. So that's quite interesting. There are several ways that I think I'm a better human because I'm more a water human.
You know what I hear that is a common thread with all that, though, is you're just a lot more conscious about things, like everything, right? Like everything that you mentioned is an attachment of consciousness to your activity, right? Like, so you're doing it instead of having it done to you, right? Yeah. Like, and I feel like that's not at all where most people are at. I actually just had a very similar conversation with somebody who was talking about all these things that were wrong with them. And I said, well, you're not dying, but like, look, this is because you're a little overweight. This is because your sleep isn't right. This is because you drink too much. And I was like, none of these things, I'm not judging you on any of these things, but like, if you want to fix these are all easily fixable. You just have to actually do it differently.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope, not interested. Like, it's like, and it's like the only thing missing with that person is a connection of, that consciousness of saying, okay, I'm going to purposefully do this thing that will get me out of this situation that is unpleasant, measurably unpleasant.
But I think,
whereas,
go ahead.
No. It was interesting to just see that people are like so connected. They'd rather be in pain than be conscious
because they know it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because it's easier, right? It's easier to go home after work, crack a beer, crack 5 more, eat a bag of potato chips. That's easier. Like
absolutely. But I also feel like there at some point that pain becomes your identity. Right. Well, and then you're holding on to it for all the wrong reasons.
Well, and as a guy who's creeping up on 50 now, you know what all of my 50-year-old friends are doing? All of that. They're like, oh, my back hurts.
Yeah, this hurts, that hurts.
Parenthetically, they're almost like, yeah, I'm supposed to. I'm 50. My back's supposed to hurt. I'm like, on what fucking planet is that?
You've been told been told that lie. You absorbed it. And you're not living in a way that would defy that.
And what I like about what you're doing, Fru, is it's like basically like it sounds what I have not gotten out of our previous conversations that I got out today was that you actually discovered new things about yourself because of this. Like you didn't even expect that, right?
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely not. I didn't know what I signed up for and what you say about this as well and what's applicable to myself. I was not motivated as a 20-something to make my life better and make my health better. For what? That was just a very abstract idea of like, at some point I will feel better. I had no concept of it. But this external motivation came, which was freediving. Okay, girl, if you want to be in the water and if you want to enjoy your time in the water, you will need to make changes. And that's why I made the changes. What I also realized that, okay, I did not know much about how my nervous system works and how that's connected with everything and so on. But I discovered that may help with freediving. Oh, let me look into that. Well, guess what? Everything just became better. So there was this external motivation that then led me to develop as a person. But that wasn't me saying, oh, I want to do all these nice things for myself just because of myself. So that helped.
Well, Tom and I, before you got on, we're just talking about a challenge that I'm doing right now that we'll do a show on at some point, and it's about weightlifting, and and it's cool. I'm on like, I don't know, day 63 or something out of 90. And like, now I'm getting closer to the end, and I'm like, okay, well, now it's time to start asking questions about this journey. Right. And like, Tom was like, yeah, you could get under, closer to 10% body fat, but why would you? And I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's the motivation, but I've never been this close to that.
Because it's there.
You know what I mean? Like,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now
I could.
Yeah. But that's the same reason why before COVID, I would always keep like one Ironman every year. Not because I cared. I mean, look, running an Ironman is terrible for your body. It's really fucking long. It's hard as shit. Like, there's a bunch of reasons to not do it. But it kept me motivated, to your point, that external motivation, that external reality that at some point this year I have to run a fucking Ironman, which means I can't sit around drinking beer. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not going to work.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to
be the result.
Well, I'm going to end up like hurting myself on that run if I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm not prepared for it to a degree. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to get on the podium for that race, right? Like, that's not going to happen. But I would like to finish it without like an acute injury. Like, that would be, that'd be pleasant.
You would like to finish it so
I would like to not hurt myself.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I've done 7 of them, and then COVID came, and like that external motivation was severed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now it's like, okay, I'd rather do breath work. Yeah, we actually are meeting with a guy today about a breath work thing we're going to try to do for the show, right? So it's like, and he's great. He's actually been on the show. His name is Sam Kabert, and he's awesome, and he wants to do an in-person breath work thing, and we really want to do that.
Speaking of which, in like 15 minutes, he's doing a free session online.
Yeah.
Ooh,
he does it every Wednesday.
He does it every Wednesday. Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's neat because like that guy was like a Silicon Valley, like burn both ends of the candle.
Yeah.
And now to your same thing, almost the same story, except he's not using freediving. He's using breath work. Now he's like a fucking ninja at breath work, but it's because he's
close. He's going to come to the dark side.
He's just going to come down. Yeah. he's going to come over. Yeah.
I don't know. If we put you together, you guys will come up with something. You'll be,
yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, he's like one step away from jumping on a plane to go do a breathwork thing in Athens with you. Trust me. I mean, I could see that happening very, very easily.
Like, he offered to come here, and you can't swim in any of the water right here.
No. Yeah.
They say you can.
Yeah, we're not going to try that out, though.
We're not trying that.
Yeah, my health isn't that irreverent that I have in the water around here.
If you can't eat the fish, I'm not swimming in it.
No, yeah. And then they cleaned it up and they just dumped 5,000 gallons of fuel into it. So it's like, okay, we got close. We almost cleaned it up.
No,
we tried.
For safety considerations, please don't. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we had otters come back.
Yeah, otters are back.
The otters have come back.
Isn't that great?
Which is like apparently a big like indicator of like you can swim here again. And
water health. Yeah.
People that live here are like, I don't care what those otters are, but I'm not fucking putting a toe.
They dumped so many thousands of oysters in to help clean up and purify the water. And I just want to know what happened to the oysters, because like I have a feeling somebody ate them.
Oh, 100%.
And they're not going to have a good aging process.
Yeah. Somebody was like, "Did you see all these oysters?
All these free oysters."
Maybe they develop beautiful pearls.
Maybe. Fru, how do we find you? Do we want to find you? What are you trying to, anything you want us to let people know about you? Like otherwise,
how do we take your course?
Yeah, I want to take your course someday, man. My God.
So essentially, find me on Instagram. My name is Fru Dive. So F for Fru.
Love what you did there.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
A little nod there.
Yeah.
So instead of Free Dive is Fru Dive.
Yes.
And you can find actually videos that not much educational material. I really like to keep it light and make fun of everything. But that's where you can sign up also for courses, coaching, or if you have any questions whatsoever, that's how you find me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I have looked at your pictures before. I think there is something very fun to watch. I found myself like looking into this for like, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes. And I'm like, shit, how am I like stuck in this rabbit hole here? Like, I'm like, yeah, like so it is funny to watch. But it's
and you know Jack, you know Dr. Jack.
And you know Jack Alaka.
Yes. Knowing, well, we met and he's a very good friend of one of my very good friends. So we are connected in some ways.
Yeah, I don't know.
We gotta get him on the show.
We're still trying
amazing.
to get Jack on the show. Yeah,
you should.
Jack is great. I don't know if he's still doing his like "You Are the Office" thing where he takes a picture of himself naked all over the place.
I haven't seen that pop up in my feed in a while, but I'm sure it's probably there.
Yeah.
I think he hasn't done during his last visit to the hub, so I'm not informed that he has done one.
Yeah, Tom, that actually is funny. I think we found out that we knew Jack together when one of the times Fru and I were talking, because his Dahab picture was posted, and I say, hey, do you know this guy? He was like literally in your backyard, and she's like, I don't know him, but the photographer's like a good friend of mine or something. And I forget who it was. She's like,
I know him as well. So the world is a small place.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I think he did one of those nude in my red light chamber.
Oh yeah.
I think he did You Are the Office in my red light. So
yeah, that's funny. Cool. Well, I'm gonna have to like govern myself to only look at your feed for like a short amount of time, because otherwise I'll be back.
I will be sharing more process material. So
yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. I love it. Fru, thank you so much. Hang out after we hit stop here.
So much fun.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. But yeah, awesome talking to you, and have fun in Athens, man.
Thank you very much, guys. This was really fun.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Take care, guys.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.